From the studios in San Diego, California, this is Frank Fired Up here on the Mixed Up Sports Network, coming to you live here on this. Oh, what is it? It's a Wednesday, the 21st day of July, 2017, as we get set to go today. A busy day between news from the NBA, which just continues to pour in. I mean, within the last 24 hours, you've gotten more entertainment out of just the NBA silly season, quote unquote, than you had the entirety of the playoffs. We have the Porzingis looks like he wants out. Trust me, we'll get to that. The Brooklyn Nets get rid of Lopez, which that trade is more about the Lakers than it is about the Nets, and I'll tell you why. The Mets are embarrassing themselves in Los Angeles as yet another player goes on the disabled list. The Yankees have a little bit of an issue as far as minor leagues go with Gleyber Torres' injury. And you also have the NHL awards, the NHL Expansion Draft for the Vegas Golden Knights, and you have the NBA Draft coming up tomorrow. We'll get to the drafts, both the Expansion Draft and the NBA Draft, tomorrow. The show's running a little late today for the main reason of I have set into stone a plan for myself and for my future by I'm trying to get into play-by-play commentary, and I'm also trying to get into sports radio by doing this for as long as I have, almost a year and a half now over. By recording myself doing Padre games for the next month or so, try to get a broadcasting job out here with the Padres or with Fox Sports or whoever I can. And I was not home for the start of the game, which started at 11:20. Thank you for playing in Chicago. And just got done watching and recording the game just now, and my throat has never hurt so much in my life after doing a 3-hour, 10-minute baseball game, and now about to do a 30-minute sports show. So almost 4 hours of non-stop talking will really put a strain on anyone. But as we get into it today, just really quick, for the NHL Expansion Draft for the Vegas Golden Knights, you have two things going on right now. You have the Expansion Draft and you have the NHL Awards going on tonight, and they're making picks in between the awards. Right now, Vegas has picked 9 players from Colorado, Vancouver, Arizona, New Jersey, Buffalo, Detroit, Dallas, Florida, and LA. The big name coming out of this one is a franchise goaltender from the Colorado Avalanche. That would be Calvin Pickard. So you pretty much can rest assured that Yaroslav Halak will remain an Islander next year. Almost positive that Jean-Francois Berube should be an Islander next year. The question, however, would be, does Ronta go? If you're a Ranger fan, I personally don't think so, but that is definitely an option still on the table. Lucas Seba, defenseman from the Vancouver Canucks, 13 points in 82 games last year. And has 88 points in 465 NHL games with the Flyers, Ducks, and Vancouver. Arizona loses Timo Pulkkinen. Pulkkinen, 25 years old, 2 goals in 13 games split between Arizona and Minnesota. New Jersey loses defenseman John Merrill, who had 6 points in 51 games as a defenseman. Buffalo loses forward William Carrier, 22-year-old, 8 points in 41 games in his first NHL season. Detroit loses Thomas Nosek, 24-year-old forward, 1 goal in 17 games in the Red Wings' past 2 seasons, and this season helped Grand Rapids win the Calder Cup in the AHL. Dallas loses big player Cody Eakin, forward, 26-year-old center, who was drafted by McPhee, who's the general manager for Vegas when he was the general manager of the Capitals. 12 points in 60 games this year, but averaged 17 goals and 36 points in 80 games played in each of his previous 3 seasons with Dallas. So that is a big name for the Vegas Golden Knights to get Cody Eakin. The Florida Panthers lose Jonathan Marchessault. Marchessault, 26 years old, scored 30 goals for the first time in this season. One of 26 players to score 30 goals this year. And the Kings lose defenseman Braden McNabb, 26 years old, had 4 points over 39 games this year and has 50 points in his 238-game NHL career. So the Islanders have not had anyone taken away from them yet. The Rangers have not had anyone taken away from them yet. The Devils have lost defenseman John Merrill to the fantasy draft, but the 2 big names are Marchessault the 3 big names are Marchessault from Florida, Calvin Pickard from Colorado, and Cody Eakin from Dallas. Those are the big names to go to the Vegas Golden Knights. And apparently, from what I'm reading, who is it? Nashville's already looking to trade somebody to get somebody they want from Vegas. So that, and I believe they just made another pick. Or is this? Oh no, that's a highlight package between. I guess they're announcing Rookie of the Year this year between Austin Matthews and Patrick Laine. Honestly, you got to give it to Austin Matthews with the season he had. But anyway, just to get you caught up to speed. Yankees currently leading the Angels 3-2 with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. Good news if you're a Yankee fan, Jacoby Ellsbury took batting practice today. So he looks like he could be somewhat close to returning. Let's see. How'd the Yankees get their runs? Scoring plays. Here we go. Matt Holliday with a solo homer. Didi Gregorius hits a 2-run homer in the second. Maldonado hits a 2-run home run to tie it in the 4th for the Angels, and then Holliday with a home run in the 5th gives the Yankees their 3-2 lead back. And yes, they have just announced the winner of the Calder Memorial Trophy, essentially Rookie of the Year, and it is Austin Matthews. So, getting into the major sports discussions for today, we'll start with the Nets first because the Nets are easier, and honestly, the Nets, as I said at the top of the show, the Nets trade is not about the Nets. The Nets trade is more about the Lakers and what the Lakers can do now since they have done this trade and the possibilities that open up because of the trade. You get rid of Brook Lopez, fine. It's his last year. He's making more money than he's worth. At least to you guys, you're making more money than he's worth. You take the sucker's contract of Timofey Mozgov, which, hey, okay. And you get D'Angelo Russell, who in The which, by the way, hold on. The Golden Knights have just selected Connor Brinkley from the Carolina Hurricanes forward. 15 goals and 11 assists in the AHL with Charlotte this year. The Islanders are 3 picks away, so they'll pick from Winnipeg, Philadelphia, and one more team. I couldn't see the one team. And then it's the Islanders. So the Islanders will probably get Tampa Bay. The Islanders will probably get picked probably right around the end of the show. And the Rangers will have to wait until tomorrow. But anyway, back to the Nets. The trade... Oh, wow, they're doing more, actually. Sorry. Chris Thorburn has been picked up from the Winnipeg Jets. 127 points in 750 games for Winnipeg forward. I'm seeing a lot of forwards go right now in this expansion draft. So it could be a case where you're probably looking at Calvin DeHaan leaving if you're an Islander. If you're an Islander fan, it could be the case. They're picking from the Flyers now. So it'll be the Flyers, Tampa, and then the Islanders. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, forward from the Flyers. So that's another forward gone. And I understand you need 18 forwards, well, 12 forwards and 6 defensemen, but that's a lot of forwards that have gone recently, and now they pick from Tampa. So I don't know, are they going to pick from the Islanders in this little group? Or I would have to assume if they're doing 5, 5, and 5. Jason Garrison, defenseman from Tampa Bay, now going to Vegas. And now we wait and see who they take from the Islanders. So here we go. Here comes the Islanders pick. Oh, there's a trade. They also... Oh, wow. I have to look this up because Vegas is also making trades here. They just made a trade with Tampa Bay. Nikita Gusev, forward. And a couple of draft picks also. And now it's the... Oh, no. Or not. That's... I believe that's Garrison coming out from the tunnel there. Debuting that Vegas Golden Knight jersey, which actually looks pretty decent. And now we see who they take from the New York Islanders. My assumption would be it's going to be Ryan Strome or Brock Nelson. The best case scenario would be Calvin DeHaan, and even that's not the best case scenario. They take Jean-Francois Berube. Oh my goodness, really? So wait a second. You pass on Brock Nelson and Ryan Strome, guys who would be first line forwards for you guys, for Vegas, and they get Jean-Francois Berube, who would be a backup goalie. They also, in a trade from the Islanders, they also pick up Miguel Grabowski. Goodbye, he barely ever played. And defenseman Jake Bischoff, also this year's first-round pick, which you're not going to be too excited about, and a 2019 second-round pick from the Islanders. But my goodness, you're sitting there with Brock Nelson, Ryan Strome, Calvin DeHaan up for the taking, and you pick Jean-Francois Berube. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, they're doing more, I guess. They just took James Neal from the Nashville Predators. That's not going to be good for That's not good for that's not good for Nashville. It's great for Vegas, but I'm still in shock by that. They took John Francois Berube when you have guys like Brock Nelson and Ryan Strome just dangled out in front of you. My goodness. Yeah, I think they're going to break. Oh no, they're taking Calgary now. Oh, maybe we will get the Rangers in this one. Derek Englund. That's a pretty decent pick as well for Vegas. By the way, you can watch this NHL expansion draft on the NBC Sports Network. So I can already guarantee you this show's going to run long, and tomorrow we'll do a more in-depth look on the expansion draft. And there's Englund right now. I'll tell you, the new Adidas jerseys, the new Adidas jerseys really didn't change all that much. The Islanders jerseys look exactly the same. The Rangers are going to look exactly the same, but there are a couple of teams that changed them up. Like I know the Devils changed them up as well, and I think that's it. I think that's all they're taking right now. I JF Berube, that's funny to me. That is really funny to me, actually. You pick a backup goaltender over a first line center or a first line winger. That's unbelievable to me. All right, so they're taking a break with the expansion draft. So let's get back now to the Nets. The Brooklyn Nets. Again, this trade is not about the Brooklyn Nets. It is about the Lakers. It is about what the Lakers are trying to do now and what the Lakers are looking to do with the future of this team. You get rid of Brook Lopez. You get rid of that contract. He's only got a contract for 1 year. He's not going to re-sign. Get rid of him while one, he still has value, and two, while you can get something for him. If you wait until the deadline, he might be hurt. He might have lost all of his value. Best move for Brooklyn was to get rid of him now. You're suckered into taking the big contract of Timofey Mozgov, which, hey, whatever. You're not doing anything this year anyway. And you also get D'Angelo Russell, who would never be an all-star in the West. The West is a heck of a lot better than the East, and it is especially guard heavy. So there's no way that you are becoming an all-star in the West if you're D'Angelo Russell. So you get a little bit out of that trade. But this trade is mostly about the Lakers, and what this trade does for the Lakers now is that's the first stone to getting LeBron James. LeBron James is not a guy who is going to play around a bunch of young kids who he has to mentor. His focus is winning a championship. You get a veteran big man. You try to mold Ingram into the big man that he's supposed to be, that he can be. The key to this whole rebuild, and you're going to end up getting Ball with the number 2 pick. The key to this build is Paul George. And the reason why Paul George is the key to this is Paul George will determine whether or not the Lakers are in the running to get LeBron James. LeBron looks like he's LA bound. The question is, does he go to Jerry West and the Clippers? Or does he go with the Lakers to help them try to rebuild? If you get a starting five of Ball, George, James, Ingram, and Lopez, congratulations, you've just won 55 games at least. And most of your games against the Eastern Conference. The Lakers will be back in the playoffs in that one deal. Just with that starting five, the Lakers will be back in the playoffs. No more 25 loss seasons. No more of that. 25 win seasons. You get out of that. And now you're possibly hunting for a championship. The other question in LA is Chris Paul. Is he going to leave the Clippers? The guy is going to want complete and total control of what goes on with the Clippers, and I don't think bringing in Jerry West is going to help that for Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul is gone. I think Chris Paul is gone to to San Antonio. I do not see Chris Paul in a Clipper uniform next season. Now to the Knicks. I am surprisingly calm about this. A heck of a lot calmer than Stephen A. Smith was this morning on his show after First Take. And if you did not hear that, try to find it on YouTube because, good Lord, that is some good audio. Of him freaking out about the possibility of the Knicks trading Kristaps Porzingis. Not to Boston, just trading him in general. I am a firm believer that you should not trade Kristaps Porzingis. Do not trade Kristaps Porzingis, period. Because that kid is the future of your franchise. And everything that he is upset with is leaving. If I remember correctly, Phil Jackson only has 1 year left on his contract as head of basketball operations for the Knicks, and Carmelo Anthony will not be a Knick next year. So both of the things that he has been disgruntled with are going to be gone after next year. If the Knicks if James Dolan chooses Phil Jackson over Kristaps Porzingis, get ready for another season of mediocrity. But there is a way out of it. Kristaps Porzingis is one of the most valued commodities in the NBA right now, and he is on the market. To trade Kristaps Porzingis, you can inherit a king's ransom. You have to inherit a king's ransom. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 first-round picks here. I'm talking about 3 first-round picks and a young rookie who has a ton of upside. With that, you can revitalize your entire starting five. You can completely change your starting five, and you can inject some youth into a team that has been aging over the course of these last few years. While trading Kristaps Porzingis will not be smart for the future, you can get God and anything for him right now. The question is, do you choose does James Dolan choose Phil Jackson or Kristaps Porzingis? And if he chooses Phil Jackson, which I think the scariest part of this whole prospect for Knicks fans is not trading Kristaps Porzingis, is do you trust Phil Jackson to get everything you can possibly get for Kristaps Porzingis? And Phil Jackson has left absolutely zero doubt that he will not get everything that he can get for Kristaps Porzingis. I forget who he traded, but to get 2 second-round picks for a guy, and then to a week later watch Timofey Mozgov go for 2 first-rounders. Phil Jackson is not an executive. He is not an executive. I would not trust him for a second to get everything that he can for Kristaps Porzingis, and I'm sure a lot of Knicks fans feel the same way. Trading Porzingis would be an absolute disaster, and it would be a step backwards if Phil Jackson's the one negotiating the trade. If he's not, it could work out. But since it looks like you're going to go with Phil Jackson over Kristaps Porzingis, you got nothing. You might get a first rounder, you might get 2 first-rounders, and that's about it. We've talked about how Danny Ainge has been fleecing teams with these trades and with these deals and the way he's working these deals. He won't need to fleece the Knicks for Kristaps Porzingis. The Knicks will fleece themselves getting rid of Kristaps Porzingis. And not because they'll be getting rid of him, because they will not take as much as they can get for him, which would be the absolute travesty. So you have the deal for the Nets. That really isn't about the Nets. The Nets are going to be garbage this year again. You have the possibility of trading Kristaps Porzingis. Then you have the 2 baseball teams who have hit a nasty, nasty funk. The Mets is injury induced. The Yankees is... I don't know what the Yankees funk is. You're talking a 7-game losing streak, and this team has now fallen out of first place. 7-game losing streak for the Yankees. Right now, you're winning 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning, 1 out, 2 on. But even now, you still have to hold your breath. Tyler Clippard, at some point in the very near future, is going to start to feel the ire of the Yankee Stadium crowd. Giving up the home run to Cameron Maybin to give up the lead, and then the home run after that to just extend the lead. That is not a good look for Tyler Clippard. That is not a good look at all for Tyler Clippard. To the Mets, who now just continue. It's a yearly thing now. Just about a yearly thing now. It's almost a ritual, I guess you could say, that the Mets have high expectations and just completely embarrass themselves and completely fall on their face. What have they lost? They lost 12-0 last night. And what did they lose? 12-6 the night before that? It's incredible. Incredible what the Mets have fallen into. And I understand a lot of it is because of injury. Harvey's on the DL. Zach Wheeler just went on the DL. I think he probably just went on the DL so they can get his head straight. Gave up 9 runs against the Cubs, the game that I went to, and trust me, I saw every single one of those 9 runs. And what, he give up another 6 or 7 2 nights ago? The guy's given up 15 or 16 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. Absolute disgrace. You get Tyler Pill on the mound tonight with Rich Hill. Tyler Pill needs to go deep into this game. He has to go deep into this game if the Mets want any form of chance, because that bullpen over these last 2 days, with Wheeler leaving in the third and Gazelman pitching like absolute shed yesterday, that bullpen is overstressed right now. It's overstressed when the doors open, but they're even more overstressed right now. With the lefty, do not expect Lucas Duda in the lineup tonight, and he's not. Lineup tonight for the Mets is Curtis Granderson, Wilmer Flores, Yoenis Cespedes, Jay Bruce, Travis d'Arnaud, TJ Rivera, Jose Reyes, Gavin Cecchini, and Tyler Pill. Granderson's in center, Flores is at first, and that's pretty much all the oddities. For the Dodgers tonight, you may as well, I don't even know what you can call it. Chase Utley, Corey Seager, Chris Taylor, Cody Bellinger, who has been just as impressive as Aaron Judge this year, Logan Forsythe, Yasmani Grandal, Jock Peterson, Yasiel Puig, and then Rich Hill, the lineup tonight for the LA Dodgers. We are going to end the program here. More of the expansion draft upcoming a little bit later. Islanders lose John Francois Berube to the fantasy draft, which I would say is an absolutely massive win, considering who they could have lost. We'll go over the expansion draft tomorrow. We'll do a quick look at some mock drafts tomorrow for the NBA. You also have the NHL draft, I believe, coming up this week. And thank God, training camp for the NFL begins very, very soon. So that will do it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all tomorrow.